I don't know how to start this episode, so we're gonna do this effect. So to do this, you're gonna need a compositor, and I'm gonna use After Effects, but you could use something else that's free, like HitFilm 4 Express, which is amazing because it's free, and I love it. It's good. Before we can do anything, we need to shoot our footage, and these have to be locked off, meaning it's shot on a tripod and there's no movement. If there's any movement, this is going to get screwed up and you're going to get fired from your job. So the first shot is our shot of a lightsaber floating in the air, but obviously there's strings attached to it, and we'll fix that later. But yeah, just shoot that footage, and then your second footage should be just a clean plate. It's the exact same thing, just no lightsaber in the view. This is very important, so shoot those footages. Shoot the footage. Now we're going to go into our compositor and start doing some VFX, which is pretty much the best part of the entire thing. Okay, so we have our footage, and I'm just going to quick rename these to be organized, because I'm going to be the opposite of myself. Okay, so then we have the lightsaber layer, and then we have the clean plate. It moves a bit in between, but that's fine, because we're going to Rotobrush it anyway. So to Rotobrush, go to the, double click the lightsaber plate, and then I just glued the strings on there because tape didn't seem to want to do anything. And then hit the brush that looks like it's painting somebody. And then how Rotobrush works is you just kind of start a rough area and then tell it the green is what you want, and then you can hold down Alt or Option if you're on a Mac and tell it what you don't want. So if, like here, I do not want this glue, and then it fixes that. And these edges are pretty rough, but if you're going to show this to your parents or your friends, they probably won't notice the rough edges because it's not super noticeable unless you're like showing it to somebody who knows a ton about VFX, then it could be. So just Rotobrushing around. It's not terribly hard or terribly easy. So you just keep going around. It's way better than freehand masking it, but it is a bit time consuming. So that's a pretty good rush draft. It just has pretty much the lightsaber, and what we're gonna do now is just drag out this little dash line, I'll call it, because of these dashes. Right here is our comp, and then right here is what it's going to kind of go out and see. I'm gonna fix this little part here. There we go. And now we're going to hit this freeze button, and it will kind of bake. If you worked in Blender, you'd know what baking is. Kind of like rendering, but not rendering. So we can see it. I think it's doing kind of fine over here. The hilt part that juts out is kind of getting screwed up. Okay, so now we go to our comp. There's nothing there except for the lightsaber just floating in the air. And you could also use green strings or green paper, and that would work fine too. Now to render it out, I didn't know how to do this when I first got After Effects, so composition, add to render queue, and then right here, here's our thing. I changed some settings, like I changed it from animation to H.264, and the audio I do this MPEG 4 HEAAC-V2. And then on audio output off, I'll actually have, because the audio is just the TV in the background. We don't want that, or I don't want that. You might. I'm going to rename this. I'm going to save it somewhere. And then render. And that is how you do the float the lightsaber in the air, because it's a cool effect. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and suggest the video idea in the comments, because I run out of ideas by the first episode. And I will see you guys tomorrow. And now I have to go edit this entire video.